Hey, everybody. I hope you are having a great week so far. We are in the middle of a series on relationships. So if you've missed the first two videos, no worries. While they do build on one another, you don't have to have watched the first two in order to understand what we're talking about today. I do encourage you to go back though and check out the first two food for thought videos in this series because there's some good stuff in there, right? All right. Today we are carrying on with a metaphor that was sparked with a session um, that with one of my clients in a session with one of my clients. And we've chatted about the bones of a relationship. And then we added to that the muscles and the tendons. And today we are adding the skin to our body, to our relationship. And what would the skin represent but anything other than putting these shared values into action? The skin is the part of the body that is visible to everyone else. And it is through our actions that we exemplify our values. Now, what does this look like in a relationship? A good place to start is to go back to those mostly overlapping shared values. Let's say that you both value honesty. What does that look like in action? Maybe it means that you don't lie or you don't keep secrets from one another. But it could also mean that you don't keep your relationship a secret from others. Maybe it means that you're open about all aspects of your relationship: emotions, beliefs, priorities, money, decision making, everything. This is where you ask yourself, how do our collective actions align with our shared values? Where is there misalignment? What adjustments need to be made? So that's a good starting place, but it doesn't end there. You can't ignore those few values that don't totally align because this is where rifts can form if you avoid or overlook them. So let's say that one person in the relationship values independence. And it's not that the other person doesn't value independence, but rather just not as much. It's not as high of a priority for them. This is where it becomes very important to discuss how you can support your partner in honoring that value. So let's say in the example of independence, maybe that means that you regularly do your own thing, and then when you get back together, you're excited to share about that time. Regularly could mean every day, could mean weekly, could mean monthly. It's whatever works for you and your partner. So this is one example of how you decide together how your collective actions support what is most important. So as you can probably imagine, the more misalignment there is in values, the harder it becomes to find ways to support one another in honoring their values. There ends up being a lot more push and pull, give and take, rather than mutual benefit. And this is why it is so important to make sure your bones, your values, are as closely aligned as possible. This is usually the phase that you see problems in the relationship. So if you're experiencing frustration or tension in your relationship, it's very unlikely that it has anything to do with either person's character or personality, but rather that your values most likely are not aligned well enough. So if you're seeing in the actions of your relationship that things aren't going well, that your skin is sagging or sunburnt, let's say, it's a sign that you need to go back to the bones of your relationship and really get honest with one another about the likelihood for success in the relationship if your values are not aligning. I hope you found this useful and that this 3-part series has given you a different way to evaluate and look at your relationships. You all have a great weekend.